12:05 on this Wednesday afternoon. Hello, everyone. John Harper with you. It's the Wednesday edition of Helping Seniors of Brevard. Let's get things underway as we turn now to the host of the show, the Executive Director of Helping Seniors of Brevard, Kerry Fink. Hi, Kerry.
Hi, John Harper, and thank you for that, and welcome listeners to yet another Wednesday. We call it the Lunchtime Special, the Helping Seniors radio program. You know, John, you and Joe Steckler, I guess, sort of pioneered the pathway for this all those years ago. We joke about the fact that you were the one that introduced Joe to radio. In fact, we've been calling him the longest running talk show radio host in Brevard County history. Well, maybe second only to you, since you kind of got him into the business.
Right.
But this has really become a thing that people enjoy every Wednesday.
Well, I know we always look forward to it. It's always interesting, a lot of fun. You bring some great guests on the air every Wednesday, Kerry Fink, on this show, and always looking forward to what they have to say. And you've got a good guest with us today as well.
That's right. You know, and the other thing, John, is I usually open the show by saying, on behalf of our president and founder, Joe Steckler, and our education specialist, Kim Bernard, welcome to the show. Well, today we can also welcome Kim Bernard to the show. How are you, Kim?
Great, Kerry. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you know, this is what we call the fifth Wednesday of the month. So those of you that have been helping seniors, you know, we've been Joe started this organization in 2010, so we're well into our 10th year of service in the community. And Kim, you've been handling the Senior Information Helpline, which is that free call to seniors and the families that care for seniors throughout Brevard County. And you get calls all the time at 321-473-7770. And there's been thousands of calls along the way during that period of time.
Oh, absolutely, Kerry. All different kinds of calls. You name it, I get them.
There's no doubt. But the point I wanted to make was, if you've been following the Helping Seniors radio show for some period of time, there is sort of a pattern we follow. The first Wednesday of each month, we kind of call it our legal expert corner, because we've been so fortunate to have Bill Johnson, who is a board certified elder law attorney, join us every Wednesday. So like when we come back next week, you will be looking for Bill Johnson to be on the radio with us. And he always brings a tremendous, valuable perspective on the things that we talk about. Because if you know Joe talks about having an aging plan. And that's Joe's idea, which is so on point, because as we're kids growing up, they say, what do you want to be when you grow up? What's your plan? What are the things you want to do? And then when we get to be adults, they say, well, what's your financial plan? Are you going to send your kids to college? Are you going to save for your retirement? What are you going to do? And then we get to retirement age. Hopefully, we've thought a little bit about a retirement plan. But what Joe is talking about when he says aging plan is the idea of getting you set for those things that you might face along the way. So everything from about how you might choose to live, whether you want to age in place at home and make preparations for that, or if you like the idea of maybe the country club style of living that a lot of today's independent and assisted livings provide. All those kind of things are good things to have in your aging plan. But one of the things you have to have in your aging plan is good background about some of those documents, because as Bill Johnson says, if you don't have a plan, the state has a plan for what happens next, and it may not line up with your plan. So Bill Johnson is always the first Wednesday radio show each week, each month on the Helping Seniors Radio. The second week, we are so privileged to have Dr. Lee Sheldon join us. And Dr. Lee Sheldon is a noted area periodontist. Again, like we say, John is the guy that got Joe started with radio. Dr. Sheldon is really the guy who got Joe started on TV, because back in those days, back when Joe was running Brevard Alzheimer's and getting the Joe's Clubs established, Dr. Lee Sheldon had a TV show and brought Joe on as a guest. And so all these years later, it's the other way around. Dr. Sheldon shares his expertise and wisdom on all things. He's also an expert on health in general, and it's always a pleasure to have him the second Wednesday. Third Wednesday of the month, Barbara McIntyre, who's been a longtime friend of the Helping Seniors world, joins us, and she's an expert on reverse mortgages and so much more. And the fourth Wednesday of each month, Jennifer Helen, who is the owner of Seniors Helping Seniors, joins us. So every so often we get a fifth month or a fifth week in a month. And so that's when we get to have a lot of fun. And we thought we're going to take today and we're going to talk about helping seniors. And that's why I asked both Kim Bernard, our education specialist, and John Harper to really join us on the show. And Kim, when you first met up with helping seniors, and tell us a little bit about your background and why it's such a fit with the work that you do day in and day out with helping seniors.
Well, first of all, Kerry, I am a caregiver, number one. I've been caring for people for quite a long time, actually, ever since my father to my brother, now my mother. So I do have quite the experience with caregiving, and also some legal experience as well from working with my father and his law firm. But of course, working in the firm is a little bit different than, of course, helping senior citizens, but we did help everyone that came in the door. So I do have that helping experience. So it does align with my life experience and goals, and it's just what I enjoy doing.
Yeah, and you're quite good at it because you make such a difference in the lives of people when they call. We get the feedback all the time from people who say, listen, it was so refreshing to get a real person. When I called Helping Seniors, I got a person who talked to me and not press 1 for this, press 5 for that, and get lost in some sort of electronic nightmare of a voicemail menu. They actually get to talk to a person, and better yet, a person who cares, Kim. And I think that's something that is authentically you, because it must come from your background as a caregiver, because you do seem to treat each person who calls with a high degree of respect, and you really try to get involved and find a way to make a positive impact for that person.
Oh, absolutely, Kerry. I mean, I meet every single caller at their level. So no matter what the situation, whether it be something as small as just needing a handyman service, all the way up to someone who, for example, just today, literally the woman called me from her bed and she was hit by a car. She's 70 years old. Yeah, we'll not give any names. We'll not give location either, to respect her privacy and protect her as well. So I had to meet her at her level of care and what she needs. So, here we are asking these questions of, what seems to be happening, what do you need, everything from assistive devices to a home health care person coming in and helping her out. So I connected her with the correct resources, and is she happy? She was so happy to be able to talk to somebody.
Yeah, it's very difficult because I think people really do care about helping other people, but oftentimes they're not really in a position where they can devote the time to it. And one of the things that you really have done in terms of managing what happens with the calls and how you track all that and make sure that you follow up, because sometimes people say, well, first of all, they have to understand that Helping Seniors of Brevard, technically we're what's called a 501c3 corporation, which is a fancy way of saying we're a nonprofit. We're a charity. If you don't help us stay around, we can't do the things that we do, because it's not like we get these huge amounts of government money or anything else. We exist because of the people who get behind Joe's vision for helping seniors and help us keep it going. And that happens a lot of ways. People are business sponsors. They buy car raffle tickets. Sometimes they just donate out of the goodness of their heart because they understand the importance of what we're trying to do. Some people say it's pay it forward. Other people say it's, pay it back or whatever. But the thing about being a senior is you either are a senior, especially in Brevard County, where 1 in 2 of us is 50 plus, 1 in 2 of us by AARP definitions is a senior. And even by, if you want to use Medicare standards, 65 plus, 1 in 4 of us hits that definition. So what I'll say, if you're in Brevard County, you either are a senior, love and care for a senior, or God willing, you are going to become a senior as you keep aging. So all these things that you do, Kim Bernard, our education specialist, are so important. And What the thing I want to point out to listeners also, and maybe ask you to expand on, is sometimes people say, well, is this like a referral line? You call up and you just get a number and then you're off and making those calls? Or is there much more to it than that? And we always explain to people, say, no, usually you never get off that simply. You're usually finding yourself looking for multiple solutions for people at a time, right, Kim?
Oh, absolutely, Kerry. Someone may call in and say, oh, gosh, I need a handyman. And then when I ask the question, so is there anything else I can help you with today? And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, it's, you know what? I think I need to get my will done. My will is 10 years old. And as we all know, laws change. So let me refer you to a wonderful attorney. And then they say, oh, goodness, wow, you know what? I think I need to maybe sell my house, or there's always something else. It's kind of like going shopping. You go into the store and you figure to yourself, gosh, I only need a couple of things, and you come out with 20. And, before we know it, you're, getting things that you might not need, but, well, the callers actually, they need a lot. So it's not always just about one little thing, and it becomes personable, because before I know it, a couple of weeks later, they call me back and say, you know what? I talked to you a couple of weeks ago. Is there a way I can ask you a question? Sure. And one question leads to another question. And before I know it, we've developed this caller relationship where they know they can trust me. And they can call at any time. If they call after business hours, they know that I'm going to return their call the next business day. So it does become personable. So it's not just them calling and getting a number and then us hanging up the phone and never talking to each other again. 9 times out of 10, these people are calling me back because they know they can trust us as an organization to give them the services that they need and that are trustworthy. And that's key. That's very important.
And as you're saying that, I was thinking about kind of the path that Joe Steckler staked out for all of us as he founded the Helping Seniors organization back in 2010, because, he's a retired Navy captain. He's 87 years old, takes a knocking and just keeps on rocking, because he really does care so deeply for the love and care of seniors in our county. You can't pick up a newspaper and not read a Joe Steckler article. Hometown News, he just did one, in fact, this past week, called More Difficult Decisions. And he's imploring people to go ahead and tackle some of these things head on so that they don't catch you by surprise. And I was thinking, Kim, as you're talking about your experience answering that Helping Seniors line, the need for what we do has grown exponentially, even since Joe forecast the need for this back in those early years. In fact, when I first met him, he said, what I learned through all the work I did in establishing Brevard Alzheimer's and setting up those Joe's clubs, those adult daycare centers that to this day are named after him. He said, I realized that seniors face a lot of problems that go well beyond memory care. And he said, there needs to be somebody that can connect seniors to the information that is going to make a difference for them as they're aging. And I was thinking, like, what almost prophetic words they were, because now, if you think about it, Kim Bernard, here we are 10 years later. Who would have forecast we were going to go through COVID? And think about how your phone lines just went crazy with callers who were desperate to try to find solutions or resources or connections through all of that. Talk a little bit about some of the calls that stand out from that period of time.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, everyone knows the old toilet paper joke of, oh my goodness, how are we going to get toilet paper? How are we going to get paper towels? But with the senior citizens in Brevard County, it was, how am I going to get out of my house? I'm too scared. That was the main question. So, of course, we have our big box stores such as Publix, and we have, the Sam's Club and BJ's. And thank God they were actually making special hours for first responders and senior citizens to come in and pick up, supplies. And on the other side of the coin, it was also BJ's and Sam's Club were offering, some delivery situations where they would just be able to, deliver everything curbside. They would just pull up in their car and get what they needed. And the other situation, aside from that, was senior citizens who have pets. everyone forgets about Fido and Felix the cat. So it was like, okay, so how am I going to feed my animals? And Space Coast Kibble Kitchen was doing a situation where they would have it's like almost like a food bank. And they would have so many thousands of pounds of feed for these animals, and people would be able to just go drive up in their car and get, what they needed for their pets, which was absolutely wonderful. And another thing that came into play was, so if senior citizens don't want to go out, to get their blood work done. They don't want to go to the hospital. They don't want to go to Quest Labs. They were like, well, gosh, how am I going to get my lab work done? So we have a wonderful person here, sponsor, Paradise Mobile Labs. She actually comes into the home and for only $25 does, the blood draw, and she does what she needs to do, takes that sample to the hospital, and they don't have to leave their home. So that was another big change. So all these different changes that came about because of this COVID virus has been absolutely amazing, and who would have ever thought, And the other good thing about having Paradise Mobile Labs was the fact that she's so easily accessible. I use her myself for my own mother, so that was a great benefit to have. So there has been a lot of changes.
Yeah, no, there's no question. I was thinking about that the technical title that they often like to use, like if we apply for a grant or say, can somebody help us a little bit with this? They say, what's one of the primary things you do? And I guess one of the terms that they like to use, it's their term, not ours, but it does sort of fit. It's called senior navigation. And what they mean by that is sometimes you need help moving through a situation you haven't been to before. I was thinking about this the other day because we were traveling and I was going through an airport, and in our lifetime we flew so much corporately. I'm a 2 million miler with Delta alone, and somebody stopped me in the airport and was asking how to navigate to baggage claim, and I thought, well, it's obvious because I've done this so many times, but if you don't do something or you're brand new to it, it's all pretty intimidating because all these signs are all pointing you with different arrows and things like that, and you don't know what to do. And we talk about this over and over. Aging is on-the-job training. So when you start into it, you don't really know where you're going, and it sure is so comforting to have somebody that can say, hey, have you thought about this? Or maybe you want to try giving a call over here, or this could possibly be something that's going to help you on your journey. And I think that's the value, Kim, of what you're able to do as you respond and work with callers who are calling in.
Oh, absolutely, Kerry. It's also life experience too. It's, I don't know too many other people who have this type of life experience for me personally, I'll share this with you. In high school, I took care of my father who was a liver transplant patient. So I know all about, what has to be ordered and, medications and IVs and things that are literally coming in boxes to the home. So I understand that aspect of it and what it's like to run patient care in shifts. We had private nursing care coming to the house, and I understand the importance of that and the value of that and how critical it is, most especially for a transplant patient in bed, in a hospital bed, in the family room, and still taking cases and practicing law at the same time. So, I really do have quite the experience, and I am pretty good at navigating out of state as well. The tri-state area, New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Pittsburgh. So yeah, people do give me phone calls all the way from Las Vegas, which has been amazing. I don't know the Vegas area, but I can definitely navigate my way through. So it really does take someone who is not just patient, but also will go the extra mile and extract knowledge from their past, because it really does help our people. It really does.
Well, it's that experience that you're talking about. I was thinking about it. Right. Joe always talks about, while in his early days he was a submarine commander, which is pretty impressive by itself. But he also talks about that his last command in the Navy was being in charge of the Navy's retirement home in Gulfport, Mississippi. And I think that's probably where he gained such a passion for the importance of what's going on behalf of seniors, because it's really a challenge for, think about it, for the senior themselves. They're arriving at places they may have been quite effective at all the things they did throughout their life. But again, becoming a senior is on the job training. And then if you think about it, as the adult kids or the spouse, we don't really have a much better handle on it than the senior themselves do. And yet we're still trying to make some pretty important decisions as we go along. And so getting the benefit of wisdom can really make all the difference in the world. And I was thinking about, even as we're talking about this theme of the fact that the work of helping seniors becomes more important day by day. Number one, simply because there's more seniors than there have ever been before on this planet. And it's just because people are living longer. We did a segment not long ago on the radio where we were talking about how fast 85 plus is growing. In fact, when you talk to a lot of the assisted livings, they have people who are in the high 90s, early 100s who are doing quite well and just enjoying life day by day. So there's that whole thing of us living longer puts more importance on getting all these senior questions right. But the other thing, particularly here in Florida and where we live, is the amount of people who are moving in. You referenced, Kim, how people are calling you from all over the country. But folks are moving into Florida and they have all these questions.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just the ones that are moving in from Florida. It's also not from Florida, from other states, rather, is the adult children, if you will, calling from out of state saying, my parents are living by themselves and mom just took a fall and dad recently fell too, and I don't know what to do. And we need help. And it's like, okay, so let's start with the legal aspect. Is everything in place? I don't think so. And all these questions have to be answered and all these resources have to be provided for. And unfortunately, a lot of adult children just don't know the questions to ask. They don't understand that mom has stopped driving at age 75. They don't understand that dad's starting to have memory issues. All of these pieces to this big puzzle, everything has to fit together. And, that's where I come into play is, where are they? What are they doing on a day-to-day basis? How are they feeding themselves? Are they able to get out? All these questions have to be answered, and all these problems have to be solved in order to help them completely. And unfortunately, a lot of the adult children, they don't even like to come down. They're like, well, can you handle it? I'm like, I can't go to your home, unfortunately. I'm not able to handle the situation, but, I can definitely give you the resources and guide you in the right direction as to where you need to go.
Yeah. And, Kim Bernard, our education specialist with Helping Seniors, she's talking about the importance of finding the right help at the right time to do the right things for our seniors. And when we come back on the other side of our mid-show break, we're going to spend some time talking a little bit about why that's so important, particularly in post-COVID world, because, so often the children probably travel down to Florida to visit mom or dad a couple times a year and try to help them or see what's going on. And through COVID, this whole isolation thing has become more important. They figured out how to keep us all safe medically by social distancing, wearing masks, and all these various CDC precautions and protocols. But the fact is, then the isolation became the problem because there's nobody to check and see. Kim, just like you were saying, is mom safe? Is she able to manage things? Is she able to go out and get nutrition and things like that? It's all important stuff. That's all part of making an aging plan. And so that's why what you're talking about, Kim Bernard, is so important. And we're going to be back on the other side of this break with more Helping Seniors and some fun stuff, car raffle and more. Stick around.
Helping Seniors of Brevard, right here on 90.3 FM is where you can hear Helping Seniors of Brevard every Wednesday afternoon, as Kerry Fink likes to call it, the lunchtime edition. Right now, let's get back to more of that lunchtime edition and see what's on the menu. Kerry Fink is back with us, the Executive Director of Helping Seniors of Brevard and the host of the show. Kerry?
Hey, thank you, John Harper. Yes, we're having a great dialogue today. We spent really the first half of the show, welcome back, by the way, on behalf of Joe Steckler, our founder and president, and Kim Bernard, our education specialist. Welcome back. We spent really the first half of the show talking about ways that helping seniors helps seniors here in Brevard County. We do that mainly through our senior information helpline, which is that free call that happens at 321-473-7770. And in the studio with us today is actually Kim Bernard, who is our education specialist. How you doing again today, Kim?
Doing great, Kerry. How are you?
That's good. I thank you for taking some time off the phone bank and sharing a little bit some of the experiences that you've had. You know, we've been talking about how the demand for the senior information helpline is increasing year over year pretty dramatically, really, if you think about it. You've got all these factors in play. Now that COVID is kind of, people have had their shots and they're moving forward, and they're telling us that if we're careful, we can kind of start to resume some of the normal activities that we so enjoyed before they told us 30 days to stop the spread, which turned into, a year and a half. But nonetheless, here we are on the other side. But now people are making a lot of adjustments. Kim, you're getting a lot of calls, I think, from people who are trying to kind of get back in the swing of things. You know, it was so many medical appointments got pushed off, so many plans. You know, I want to change how I'm living. I want to do something different. All these people are discovering now as things open up, all those aspects of it. So I imagine you're getting a lot of calls related to all of that too.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, now with the real estate market as being as hot as it is for sellers, senior citizens are realizing, wait a minute, maybe I might want to sell my house or my condo and move into assisted living. So that's another big thing that's come into play.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because in that respect, you know, I was having this conversation with somebody who was talking about sponsorship in helping seniors. And they asked the question, they said, you know, a lot of times the people that call, aren't they like in the most difficult financial situations? I can't really imagine if they're actually a customer for me, you know, just given where they are. And my answer is you're making an assumption, because yes, we get calls. I mean, Kim, I've heard you tell the stories. You get calls from people who are seniors living in a car. I mean, it's ridiculous. Seniors who can't find a place that they can call their own, that they can stay, or the housing troubles that you help people through. And there's just so many tragic things. But I said, you know, that's only one part of the dynamic of everything you deal with. You deal quite often with people who have plenty of resources, but simply have no idea where to turn. I've heard you work through cases that involve legal questions like, what kind of an attorney do I need for this? I have plenty of money to work this out, but I'm just not sure because I haven't been here before. So you really see people from all walks of life.
I sure do, Kerry. It goes from one end of the spectrum to the next, the poorest of the poor to the richest of the rich. I get people who are, you know, living beachside in multi-million-dollar homes, and, you know, they say, gosh, you know, my health isn't good anymore. I'm not the way I used to be. My memory isn't great. I can afford help. I just had a gentleman today, actually, he needs help with his computer. He used to be in the computer science field, and he said his memory just isn't the way it used to be, but he wants to keep himself sharp. So his question to me was, so what can I do as far as trying to keep my mind, you know, sharp and not, you know, deteriorate? Of course, that to me personally, that's a medical question. And of course, I let him know rather that, you know, speaking with his primary care physician as well would benefit him. But if he was looking for some games to play online. So Lumosity is one thing. Alzheimer's.net has a whole resource area of different types of brain games for brain health, if you will. So he was very, very happy about that. But he also wanted to learn computers again. So computers are definitely not the way they used to be back in the 80s, you know. So he was looking for some adult education. So, you know, Brevard County has some great adult education programs. And that's where I guided him. And he was elated. He was so excited about it. Just to learn how to do Microsoft Office was something he was very, very interested in. So again, like I said, the phone calls that come through could be, like you said before, someone living in their car looking for shelter. Or it could be someone who has the resources, someone who has the money, the financial means, to get home care or to get someone to come in to clean their house. So it all depends. I mean, it's so multifaceted. There's just so many different areas, so many types of callers that do come through the line. So it all depends. I mean, when I walk into work, I don't know what I'm coming into sometimes. Sometimes it's a hour and a half long phone call. Sometimes it's a month and a half case. It depends.
Yeah, and I know you've taken so many calls as we've moved through the COVID thing. In fact, I was talking to Joe Steckler, our president and founder, and we've had this conversation along the way that there are a lot of really good programs that are designed to benefit seniors. And so we use the term a lot, being a small organization helping seniors in Brevard. We use this term a lot. We're not here to compete with any other service provider, things that are out there that are really good, like the Meals on Wheels program or things like that. We're here to complete the equation because so often people just don't know even where to begin. I can't tell you, you probably have a handle on it, but I am surprised when I hear the report that somebody calls in and says, I can't get food. And they don't even know, for example, that a Meals on Wheels program exists.
Right. That is very, very true. They also don't know, and this will surprise you, they don't understand what the SNAP program is for food stamps. And number one, they don't know what it is. Number two, they don't know how to access it. They don't know the telephone number. So it's very simple for me to just go online, do a research for SNAP benefits, SNAP program in Brevard County, and give them the number, and they call, and then they can apply for that. So yeah, a lot of the seniors just don't know what's out there.
And I think that's one of the things that's so important because, Joe and I have had this conversation many times. A government entity can come up with what they think is a great program. But Joe and I have stood in front of panels that are trying to figure out how to distribute dollars to various organizations. And what we've heard them say, this is a terrific program to a particular organization. How come I've never heard of it? And we're talking about an organization that had been providing services, for 15 or 20 years in the very city that they're applying for a grant. And that was one of the things that's why Joe has always been so strong about what we do with media as an outreach, right? Even going back to his Brevard Alzheimer's days, right? He started with the TV. He always has done the radio. He's always had the articles and things and newsletters. Almost since the day he started helping seniors, we started with the putting our Helping Seniors newsletter in Senior Scene magazine because people need access to that information. And I was thinking, Kim, as you're talking about it, there could be the best program in the world, but if somebody doesn't know it exists, it is going to be of zero benefit to them.
That is definitely the truth, Kerry. If they don't know what's out there, then it's almost like they just can't be helped. But thank God if they reach us, they're going to get the help. They're going to be guided in the right direction for the resources that they do need to help them.
Yeah, a perfect example of that, and I was thinking about this, how many people, if you think about it, between you, Joe, and some of the other people who have been involved in helping seniors, I wonder how many different folks we have introduced to VA aid and attendance, because I know you've had calls from somebody trying to eke it out on a Social Security check. And as you talk to them and you discover that their spouse served in the military, and you do some more digging, and all of a sudden there's a benefit that could accrue to them that literally changes their cash flow 1,000%.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of, the surviving spouses, they know that there's benefits, of course, yes, but they also sometimes just don't know about aid and attendance. They've never heard of it. Of course, everybody's heard of the GI Bill, when you go through college and all that stuff, but a lot of them don't even know about aid and attendance. And that is such a wonderful benefit for them.
Yeah, and when you think about it, Kim, it's not only that you need to know these programs are there, but it's how to access them. And I think that's the value when somebody calls the Helping Seniors information line. They get somebody, number one, who's willing to take the time to talk to them, who, number two, cares about what's going on, but maybe almost most important, number three, has an idea or two, say, well, this might impact this and might move this in the right direction. And I always have said, I've always made this observation, Helping Seniors is the little organization that could. I am absolutely floored at the amount of impact that this tiny little organization is able to have for thousands and thousands of people. It must be very satisfying to you when you are able to make some kind of a difference in the trajectory of something somebody's going through.
Oh, it sure is, Kerry, especially when, I hear these situations about family members who, everything from a family member that lives 20 hours away that doesn't even want to help, or someone who lives 10 minutes down the road and just doesn't even check in on mom or dad. And for just me as one person, to do all of this, it makes me feel great that, that I can help and to know that they're so appreciative of everything that I do for them. And I think to myself, gosh, I'm really not doing that much, but really I am, if I sit there and give them a telephone number for an attorney, it may not sound like it's a lot, but it's a whole lot for someone who doesn't have a computer, let alone know how to use a computer or even get to a library because they don't even have a car or they don't drive anymore, to get there or whatever the situation might be. So yeah, it really is. It's very heartwarming, if you will, to know that I can help these people so much. And they do appreciate it, and they do actually remember me. They actually call me, and I'll get a voicemail. I'll walk into the office and I'll listen to the calls and say, "Oh my goodness, I just got this huge thank you from this woman, and all I did was just give her the number for, an attorney, or if I just gave her the number for, the diagnostic lab or wherever." And they're just so appreciative of it because nobody else does it for them.
That's right. And I think not only that, Kim, even as you're talking about it, it occurs to me that, again, the value of what Helping Seniors provides in our community and has for a dozen years is really peace of mind, because as people give you a call and they kind of work through, here's what I'm trying to figure my way around, and you're able to give them some not only positive encouragements, but some real avenues that are going to make some impact. It makes a difference. And, there's that often used thing about the little boy collecting starfish on the beach, and there's hundreds of them up there that were caught at low tide. And so this little boy is tossing them back in the water, and an elderly man comes along and says, well, what are you doing? I'm trying to save this starfish. And then he throws the next one back in the water. And then, as they go through that, the man goes, but there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these. Hey, you can't save them all. I said, yeah, but I did save that one. And I think that's the point. We're doing all that we can to make a difference positively and impact the life of seniors in Brevard and advocate for seniors. One of the programs that Joe started this year, Kim, that I want you to talk about, because this is really in your wheelhouse, is the Stay Connected program. Because, again, to set the backdrop, as we were going through COVID, within a certain short period of time, they got us safe. And what I mean by safe is they said, well, if we can lock down seniors this way, we can put these kind of CDC protocols in place. If we have family not visit, if we have everybody wearing masks, we do all these things, we can keep seniors alive. Medically, they kind of figured out how we could stay safe. But what real quickly became evident was we're not able to deal with the isolation and the mental challenges that have come out of the COVID. And so Joe, at the beginning of this year, he said, he really felt strongly. He said, I heard him say this in front of a panel that he was making a presentation to on behalf of Helping Seniors. And he said, this is really all about helping people. We have to help people. And when we do that, we're making such a difference for them. And so in this Stay Connected program, what Joe envisioned was a way that volunteers will be willing to check in with seniors around the county just to have a conversation. How's everything going? What do you need? It's kind of like, Kim, it's like what you're able to do to help solve immediate problems. but just to have somebody to say hello to on the other end of the phone. Talk a little bit about that program.
Yeah, so the Staying Connected program is going to be designed specifically for homebound seniors, and of course anybody else who wants a phone call. I really think that it should be open to any senior, someone who's just, they're retired, they just kind of hang out by the pool all day, but they want someone to talk to. Specifically, I'm talking, our homebound people that are widows, and like I said, it's really all the seniors. A woman who was married for so many years lost her husband, and now she's by herself. She goes out and, she might go to the library to go read or whatever she might do, but she has nobody to talk to. She doesn't have very many friends. So the Staying Connected program, just having our volunteers to be able to reach out to these individuals and say, hey, how are you doing? They can make a new friend, and they can expect this phone call, and they look forward to this phone call coming in, at such and such a time. And of course, if there's anything that they need, then what they can do is they can refer it to me, if it's something that comes down the line that's critical, of course. But, being connected with, law enforcement officials and, the fire departments and local community, I think if we all come together and, we put our minds together and explore and discover who needs phone calls, I think this is really going to be a wonderful program, because there's so many seniors in our Brevard County community that could definitely benefit from this.
Yeah, there's no question about it. So again, let's give that phone number, the Senior Information Helpline number, Kim, if you don't mind, and also the hours that you have that phone available and are manning, so that you can take calls.
Sure, definitely, Kerry. So it's at 321-473-7770. Again, that number is 321-473-7770. And I'm here answering these phones between the hours of 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Yeah, and it's a free call. So make the call for a couple of reasons. Number one, you may be a senior that needs some extra assistance, or you may know of a senior that does, or you may be have a family member that could benefit. So it's always a good call to make and learn what's out there. But it's another good number to remember for another reason that I want to hit real quickly before we wrap up the show, is it's where you can get your Helping Seniors car raffle tickets, Kim. You can get folks squared away with this is our fundraiser, folks. It's our big fundraiser. Joe Steckler works with the car dealer AJ Hires of Boniface Hires. He's got one of everything. He's got the Chevrolet store. He's got the Mazda store. He's got the Kia store. He's got Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. Whatever car you're thinking about, he can get you set up. And of course, has a tremendous amount of excellent used cars. And he's known as the dealership with warranty forever. Well, he and Joe go way back to Brevard Alzheimer's days. And so they were able to come up with the idea of using cars as fundraisers for the Helping Seniors car raffle. And so this year we have 4 cars. The winner gets to pick which one they want to win when they win. 2021 Camaro, brand new Dodge Challenger, a Kia Sportage, or a Mazda Miata convertible. Kim, which car do you like in all of that?
Oh my goodness, Kerry, that's a wonderful question, but I can honestly tell you I have driven all of the cars, every single one. I do love all of them. But since I am a giant dog breed person, Great Dane specifically, I would have to choose that Kia Sportage. I mean, even though it would be wonderful to have a Great Dane sitting right in the front seat, that Mazda Miata, that would be great. However, at 4 months and 65 pounds, we're crunching it just a little bit. But yeah, I would definitely go with the Kia Sportage. I'd have to go with that. So I think that might fit 2 Danes in there, 2 puppies at least.
Yeah, there you go. Well, if somebody's going to pick up keys to a brand new car, last year, if you remember, it was Troy Darling in Indiana-Atlantic, and he took home the Chevrolet Camaro. The year before was Karen Hoodless, who's also here local. She took home keys to the Dodge Challenger. So it's going to be fun to see what the winner picks. The date is October 9th. And so that night, we're having a big party at the American Muscle Car Museum. Mark Pylock's fabulous collection of cars right there on Sarno Road. He's got like 70, 80 million dollars worth of cars in there. It's just fascinating to be in there. And it's always a great fun party. And your ticket, when you buy a ticket, is admit one to the event. So if you get 5 tickets for $100, which is your best value, not only have you made a wonderful donation that helps us keep the work of helping seniors going, but you also could win a car, but you will definitely have a great time that evening at the party. So, and that would entitle you to bring your family, 5 people, or some of your friends and neighbors or whatever, because each ticket is admit one. So you can get 1 ticket for $25 or 5 for $100 donation. And we encourage you to do that because that's what allows us to do the work of helping seniors. And Kim, you've got those tickets, right?
Oh, absolutely, Kerry. Anybody who calls me, I can go ahead and do that online processing for ticket orders. And if you want, you could even come into the office and purchase tickets. That's fine, too.
Right. And the phone number to reach you for that, again, is the same as the Senior Information Helpline.
Yes, 321-473-7770. Again, that number is 321-473-7770.
And there's a lot of places around town you can pick up tickets. You can get information about all of that at helpingseniors.carraffle.com. helpingseniors.carraffle.com. The last thing, just before we get out of here, the cruise is a go. October 17th, we're sailing from Port Canaveral, and that is going to be so much fun. It's on the MSC Divina. It's the Helping Seniors Travel Club. It's actually also a fundraiser for the work of helping seniors, but it's a great, great, great travel bargain as well. So you're able to take an outside cabin on the sailing. I think they sold all the inside cabins we have, but outside cabin is available. But get this, if you book now, Chris Morris, our travel specialist, will get you, this is great, upgraded to a balcony cabin. And so that's going to be a wonderful opportunity. The pricing is unbelievable. He's made sure everything's included so you don't have any surprise extras. You can find out about that. Either give Kim a call at 321-473-7770. She'll get you connected with Chris Morse or Betty in the travel office. You can visit helpingseniorstravelclub.com. So with that, Kim, I wanted to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us on the radio today.
Oh, you're welcome, Kerry. Anytime.
And thank you, listener, for joining us on Helping Seniors Radio. We are so appreciative of your listening and your support of the Helping Seniors organization. Get your car raffle tickets today. Come on the cruise with us. And just thanks for volunteering and helping us keep this work going. And so with that, on behalf of Joe Steckler, our president and founder, and Kim Bernard, our education specialist, the whole team, John Harper, Jim Votro in the studios, we just thank you, and we'll see you again actually next Wednesday right here for Helping Seniors Radio.